In one Waikiki condo building, the master insurance premium went from $235,000 a year to over $1.2 million. Same building, same coverage, just a few years apart. That number comes straight from the Hawaii legislature's own findings when lawmakers passed an emergency insurance bill last year. And it's not an isolated story. Right now, more than 200 condo projects in Hawaii are sitting on a list that most buyers have never heard of, a mortgage blacklist that can quietly kill a sale before it even gets to closing. This is the story of how insurance, not interest rates, became the biggest threat to owning a condo in Hawaii in 2026. Let's break down what actually happened. Here's the issue in one line. Hundreds of Hawaii condo buildings can no longer get full insurance coverage, and that's freezing mortgages for buyers who need a conventional loan. According to local condo association managers, insurers simply stopped offering enough hurricane coverage to fully protect these buildings. Lenders say they're just following federal rules, and residents say they're caught in the middle, paying the price either way.
Here's the timeline. Back in 2024 and 2025, 3 of the only 4 major insurers writing condo hurricane policies in Hawaii pulled back hard. State Farm hasn't issued a brand new condo policy in the state since Hurricane Iniki hit in 1992. It only renews existing ones. Another carrier capped its hurricane coverage at around $10 million per building, even for towers worth hundreds of millions of dollars. To put that gap in perspective, industry sources have pointed to newer Kakaoko condo towers with a replacement cost of around $300 million. If that building only has a $10 million hurricane layer, the AOAO would need to find another $290 million in coverage somewhere else, usually on the expensive secondary market, just to get back to full protection. Industry sources, including AOAO insurance managers in Honolulu, estimated roughly 400 condo buildings statewide were carrying less than full replacement coverage during that stretch. Renewal premiums on remaining policies jumped anywhere from 150% to 800%, with most landing somewhere around 400% to 500% higher than the year before. A handful of buildings reportedly saw increases of 900% to over 1,300%. Some associations also reported needing more than 15 different insurance companies layered together just to cobble together one building's full coverage. Sue Savio, president of an insurance agency in Honolulu, summed up the pressure boards are under. Many associations simply didn't budget for an extra $200,000 or $300,000 a year in premiums, so they're left choosing between draining reserves, borrowing money, or accepting less coverage than they actually need. Why does that matter for a mortgage? Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac require condo buildings to carry insurance covering 100% of their replacement value. If a building falls short, the entire project can get flagged as ineligible for conventional financing, not just one unit, the whole building. As of last year, Hawaii had 204 condo projects on that list, making it the 4th worst state in the country, behind only Florida, California, and Colorado. Victor Brock, legislative chair of the Hawaii Mortgage Bankers Association, put it plainly. Once a building loses full coverage, the buyer pool shrinks down to cash buyers or people with very large down payments. Refinancing becomes nearly impossible, too.
Let's get into the data because the numbers tell the real story. Statewide, the median condo price fell 2% in 2025, even while single-family home prices ticked up 1%, according to the University of Hawaii Economic Research Organization's 2026 Housing Factbook. On Oahu specifically, the Honolulu Board of Realtors reported condo sales down nearly 5% in January 2026, with inventory up almost 6% to over 2,200 listings. By March, the statewide condo median had dropped to $531,000, down 3% year over year, while condo days on market climbed to 57, up 21% from the year before. Zoom into individual neighborhoods and it's even sharper. In Honolulu's Makiki area, resale condo prices dropped 13% to a median of $345,000. Salt Lake condo days on market jumped 78%. Across urban Oahu, resale condo prices fell an average of 6% compared to 2024, which locations Hawaii directly tied to infrastructure and insurance issues in aging buildings. Meanwhile, statewide property insurance premiums jumped 13.4% in 2024 alone, the largest single-year increase in over a decade, and well above the national average of 9.7%. Hawaii's median HOA fee now sits at $470 a month, the second highest in the country. In Honolulu specifically, advertised HOA fees hit a median of $882 a month as of February 2026. And mortgage rates aren't helping. Freddie Mac put the average 30-year fixed rate at 6.36% as of mid-May 2026, high enough on its own before you stack hundreds of dollars a month in insurance-driven HOA increases on top. The neighbor islands tell their own version of this story. On the Big Island, the median condo price fell 15% to $525,000, even while single-family home sales there climbed 22%. On Maui, the picture is shaped by a different but related policy shift. Maui County's Bill 9 is phasing out roughly 7,000 short-term vacation rentals in apartment-zoned buildings, and Maui condo prices are now down 11% from 2023, with prices for condos on the so-called Minatoia list down 16%. Insurance costs and policy changes are clearly pulling in the same direction across multiple islands, not just Oahu.
State lawmakers didn't sit on this. In July 2025, Governor Josh Green signed Senate Bill 1044, now Act 296, into law. It reactivated the Hawaii Hurricane Relief Fund, which had been dormant since the 1990s, and expanded the Hawaii Property Insurance Association so it can step in and write coverage when the private market simply won't. The law also created a new low-interest loan program to help associations pay for the repairs insurers actually want to see, things like repiping and exterior fixes, before they'll offer better terms. Acting Insurance Commissioner Jerry Bump said that within just 2 weeks of the relief fund relaunching, pricing pressure and new competition had already started pushing some costs down. But this isn't a fix-it-overnight story. Coverage through the state program is capped at 60 months for high-rises, and insurers can still legally use risk models that price coastal exposure however they see fit. On top of that, Hawaii got hit with severe Kona low storms in March and April of this year, causing over $1 billion in estimated damage statewide. And in June 2026, this month, updated FEMA flood maps are adding roughly 3,700 new parcels on Oahu into high-risk flood zones, which means thousands more owners will need flood insurance just to keep their federally backed mortgage.
So where does that leave things right now? As of this spring, single-family homes on Oahu are still selling fast, with inventory down to under 3 months' supply. Condos are the opposite story, buyer's market territory, with inventory sitting around 6.5 months. Some recent reports even show condo sales finally absorbing a bit of that backlog, with active listings dipping slightly for the first time in a while. But underneath that, the insurance problem hasn't gone away. It's just being managed building by building, policy renewal by policy renewal. For buyers, that means one thing. Before you fall in love with a unit, ask for the AOAO's current insurance certificate and find out if that building carries full replacement coverage. For sellers, it means your buyer pool might be a lot smaller than you think if your building isn't fully covered. And for current owners, it means budgeting for the possibility of a special assessment, even if your maintenance fee hasn't gone up yet. It's also worth remembering this isn't only a condo problem anymore. Some single-family homeowners on Oahu have reported being denied renewal on their own policies simply because of an older roof or outdated plumbing, as insurers tighten their underwriting across the board, not just for high-rises. So even if you're not buying a condo, the same forces are starting to show up in how single-family homes get insured and financed, too. This is the kind of risk that doesn't show up in a listing photo, but it's deciding who can actually buy in Hawaii right now and who can't.
That's why homeowners, renters, buyers, and investors across Hawaii are all watching this insurance situation closely right now.
If you found this useful, subscribe for more breakdowns of what's really moving real estate markets. See you in the next one.